Hello, I'm Matthew in Tokyo, stage 4 cancer patient, and I recently asked for questions about my situation and about cancer on Facebook, and I got 10 great questions, so I'm going to answer 5 of these in one video, 5 of these in another. One thing I'd like to say first though is please hit like, subscribe. Please share the video if you found this video interesting or useful. Someone else will. Please share the video. It makes such a difference. So yeah, let's jump into the questions. Really grateful for the questions. Makes the videos easier for me to make and hopefully more interesting and useful for you too. So Dana asks, my only question is, are you in pain? Yes, I'm got quite a lot of lower abdominal pain, so kind of around the kidney area, liver area, but it's well controlled, or reasonably well controlled, with the opioid painkillers. The only issue with that is the painkillers have a bunch of side effects. One of the biggest ones is disrupting my sleep. It's very difficult to sleep at night time, and I'm quite drowsy and fatigued in the daytime. Also, I get a lot of hallucinations now. I had to increase the dose a bit either because the pain's getting worse, or maybe just because my body is adjusting to the level of painkiller. So I get these very strange hallucinations. I'll be sitting down and maybe just nod off to sleep and have hallucinations of people walking up to me, people doing other things in the room. Another big set of side effects of the stomach trouble. Another one is a very dry mouth, so that makes it a bit, not exactly difficult to eat, but not very nice to eat because of texture changes and that kind of thing. Okay, thank you for the question, Dana. A cat in Australia asks, I'd love to know if the TACE treatment was successful at all, and how manageable the side effects are. So this is a treatment I had last month. TACE is trans-arterial chemotherapy embolization. So it means injecting chemotherapy directly into the liver tumours through a catheter, like a tube in your leg. The idea is that you're getting chemo directly into the tumours, but also before they remove the catheter pipe, they put little balls into some of the blood vessels to try and cut the blood supply to the tumours. So hopefully this will kind of starve the tumours after a while. And I think the balls I had are active balls. So these are microspheres. So they don't just block the little blood vessels, but they also release a mixture of chemotherapy drugs over a few weeks. Consequence of that is you do get some side effects afterwards. The procedure itself, no pain, pretty straightforward. Took a couple of hours. You're awake all the time. They're sort of doing x-rays and stuff while they're doing it. So I will find out, like in mid-June, I'll do a CT scan and see the TACE consultant. So this is not the person that did my treatment, but this is someone at Tokyo Hospital who works at that same clinic in Osaka 1 day a week doing TACE. So he'll be able to look at the CT scan and see what's been happening. Recent CT scans have shown some kind of new cyst or ulcer in the liver, which is a bit of an issue because we don't want it to get infected. It could be very dangerous. And it's in the way of other treatment. So yeah, another thing to be worked around. So thank you for that question, Kat. Kat is a fellow cancer patient, I think, as is Dana. Now Wade asks a big question. He says, I'd like to know who you are, what life has taught you, what has brought you the most joy in life, what keeps you so strong. I want to know better the man, friend we all want to beat this and stay with us. So Wade is here in Tokyo. I've never actually met him. We have mutual friends through the Japanese martial arts. So I guess one of the big things life has taught me is that big ideas really matter, powerful ideas really matter. But they're also delicate, they need to be protected. Just because something's right and true doesn't mean people believe it, or doesn't mean people act on it. So good ideas can often get twisted out of shape, or especially diluted. So, especially sort of disruptive ideas. Humans, sadly, we default back to like old habits, old patterns, old ways of thinking. So when we get these cool ideas, we discover them somewhere, we need to keep them as pure as possible. So it's kind of like a big thing. Study and train a lot is another big thing. I'm always trying to study, always trying to learn. And training, so actually pick up skills, be valuable, right? So be the person who can help others, not the person who's always kind of straggling along, trying to get some help. It's really important to it's lovely to be able to help people out. Speaking of people, that's another big one, is keep good people close to you. And that means try and physically meet people. So one of the side effects I forgot to mention of the opioids is hiccups and spasms in the diaphragm muscle, sometimes so bad that I can't breathe for a few seconds, which is terrifying. So if you meet cool people, spend time with them, connect them to each other as well. So not just be connected to you, but that makes a strong community. So, just like, for example, with a dojo, you should have a community around that. If people turn up and train and go, that's fine, that's valuable. But building a community around it makes such a big difference. And if you notice people slipping away, you can take your action. So, friends of yours in trouble, maybe people struggling with work or drink or whatever, makes a lot of sense to, just watching the time, to help them out. He says, what keeps you, so first of all, what has brought you the most joy in life? Very easy, my kids. Very easy question, that. Love doing stuff with them, love being with them, love learning stuff with them. My son's been away for a few weeks in the UK, so I've spent a lot of time with my daughter recently, not as much as I'd like because I've been so sick, but that's been wonderful, doing programming with her. She's really into drawing. I can't draw yet, but it's been lovely. Even though I can't draw, I can still help her with the drawing, got art books and stuff, and I can help her with how you do your workflow and stuff, that kind of thing. And the last thing, what keeps you strong? What keeps you so strong? I absolutely don't feel like I'm a strong or brave person at all. I think that I have learned, and I have to some extent trained myself to continue taking action when things are tough. So it's not like I don't get scared, I get terrified, but I don't let that freeze myself. So, as a kid at school, you learn about this free, what do they call it? Fight or flight. So, we spot the tiger in the jungle and we get ready to fight or we run away. But the reality that we all know is there's this third one, which is far more common, which is the freeze. So in a dangerous or violent situation, you've got these drugs being released into your bloodstream. Of course, most famous one being the hormone adrenaline. And that's getting you ready to fight or run off. But the reality is you freeze up, the muscles tense up. So being able to control your breathing, calm down your thinking a bit, very simple, and it's just breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. I know the people involved in Russian stemmer training do a lot of that. So it's the so-called brave person and the so-called coward. I think they feel probably the same amount of fear in a genuine situation, but the person we label as brave is the one who gets scared and then still takes action, rescues the people, whatever. So that's a big thing. Because I just have a go. Having a muscle spasm there. Wow. So Sarah asked a good question. I didn't have a good answer, but I'm going to try anyway. I just said, thank you for your question, Wade, and let's meet up at some point in Tokyo. So Sarah says, Sarah's here in Japan. If you were suddenly and miraculously cured completely and found yourself in the greatest of health and physical condition, better than before the cancer, and you had, let's say, 10 years of enough money reserved, what would you dream up for yourself? What would you do next? The honest answer is nothing. I'm not a bucket list person. I've done loads of amazing stuff in my life, traveled a lot to, 20 plus countries, made some quite big things happen. But so what I'd say is I'm very, very happy doing things with my kids and other young people. So I would just do more stuff with my kids that require money that I don't have at the moment. So things like traveling. So of course you can travel with no money, and that's one of the best ways to travel, I think. But that's not really open to me. So theoretically, so at the moment it's not open to me because of health stuff. But theoretically, if it was, if I had my 10 years of savings, the whole, FIRE, right? Financially independent, retire young. And if I was sort of healthy and stuff, then taking my kids traveling. There's just so many places. I like to take them all over Japan, all around Europe, that kind of thing. The other big thing that I would do, which is what I am fighting to do, is open some kind of research centre. Now, very much I'm cancer focused, so if I was miraculously cured tomorrow, at the moment we're still with interest in cancer. The plan is to open the world's first stage 4 cancer research institute. So there's no there doesn't seem to be any dedicated institute looking at stage 4 cancer, so that's the late stage terminal cancer. And my research institute will do some research itself, but will mainly connect researchers together, connect patients together with researchers, connect doctors and clinical practitioners with the researchers, because there is good research being done, but it's not shared well. It's certainly not shared outside the medical world, but even inside the medical world, these researchers will typically meet each other, once a year in a big medical conference. There's a very famous cancer one happening this week in Chicago called ASCO, the American Society for Clinical Oncology. But they're not good at sharing their research. They still have this idea that you do research and you publish papers. That's not how you share stuff. You don't share stuff with papers. We need to be sharing in a much more dynamic way with kind of living documents. And of course, it's easy online, wiki-style documents where people can comment, annotate, connect up the stuff together. So Sarah, not a fantastic answer, I'm afraid, but yeah, I'm not a bucket list person or anything like that. If I was miraculously cured and I didn't have a cancer connection, I've always wanted to do a research centre. I'm very interested in the research that done at Xerox PARC, so that's a Palo Alto research centre out in Pasadena in California. A lot of that was involved Alan Kay, who is a computer scientist but also an educationalist. I'm really interested in young people and how we can help them be educated and be not just consumers but creative, or consume in a better way as well. So some kind of research centre looking at education. Alan Kay and the others at Xerox PARC, they did a lot of outreach to local schools. I think they actually got maybe kids visiting Xerox PARC as well, I would believe. But they definitely went out to schools with computers and other tech stuff and watched kids. How do they learn? What do they stumble on? That kind of thing. So, hope that's reasonable. And then the last one for this video, Kirsten says, when you say write your emergency plans, have you any emergency plans that are not normal, very unusual, or very Matthew? So basically, recently my situation's got really acutely bad, kind of fighting for my life sort of thing. It goes up and down. I know that's frustrating for everyone. I might be okay at the moment. I've had a couple of good days. Tomorrow might be really bad. Starting radiotherapy next week, there might be a lot of issues with that. But these emergency plans are sort of for the hospital and for the emergency responders. What do you want to happen in various scenarios? A lot of it is about stay at home or be moved into the hospital when there's something serious happens. I want to stay at home as late as possible. My oncologist basically, I think he wants me to stop the cancer treatments now, or at least be really thinking about that, because at the moment I'm looking at the radiotherapy, that TACE, that kind of stuff, which are local treatments, but at least the oncologist plan would be to go back to the whole body treatments, and there's lots of side effects associated with that. and there reaches a point where the damage done is by the treatments is going to far outweigh any benefit you could get. For me, my rule is if I'm physically well enough to get to the hospital or get to a hospital clinic on my own on the train, then I'm going to do treatment, right? If that's that's what's called performance status. So like your general ability and well-being. If my performance status is good enough, I can get to the hospital on the train by myself, get checked in, then I'm doing the treatment. So the emergency plans are very much the sort of do not resuscitate, that kind of thing. Having said that, I want to stay at home. I don't want my kids to see me in a very bad condition, either at home or in the hospital. So hospital here, I'm talking about maybe like the hospice. So here it's called palliative care unit, PCU. In England we call it hospice. I don't know about the US, but I don't want them to go to hospital and see me lying in a bed with a machine breathing for me, because that's a traumatic thing. So that's the big thing to get across to my oncologist when I see him on Thursday this week, is that I'm continuing fighting, but when it comes to it, I will have to cut things a bit short, because I have to not leave my kids with memory with kind of an unpleasant traumatic memory. Hopefully, like Jessica, to remember me reading to her. She's 11 now, and maybe Edward to remember me kind of exploring places with him, whatever. So those are the first 5 questions. Second video with 5 more questions coming up. Thank you so much for the questions. Please do get in touch with me on Facebook, especially if you haven't done so already. If I don't know you, get in touch with me. It might take some time to respond, but if you're a cancer patient, I'm going to help you out. I help people for free. I know there are people doing like Zoom consulting for like $200 an hour or whatever, or like helping out patients navigate this. That's not me. I think that's a really bad thing. If you're doing it, fucking stop it, because you're biased and it's not honest and it's not good. I'll always, if you're a cancer patient or a carer, I'll always help you for free. Might take me a while, but I'll always do my best. Please like, subscribe and share. It makes such a difference to the Google algorithm and stuff. Lets my videos being watched by new people, but also old people, more like, not old people, people who have been watching my videos for a while. It's more likely for the videos to pop up in their feed. Thanks a lot. Please donate if you can. I'm desperate to cover the medical bills and things. Donation link is at the bottom of the YouTube video. Thank you so much. And if you have watched this video, then it's worth sharing. So please share it on Facebook or social media. Thanks a lot.